Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and if you're new, my name is LJ and you're watching NoClutch Garage. And today we're gonna be installing the MST intake on my car. Now that I have the car here, I can do all the work with all the parts that I had just laying around, so we're gonna be doing that. Yeah, so basically MST sent me an intake and I did the unboxing video. If you haven't seen that video, go ahead and click in the link up there and you can look at everything that comes with the MST intake. Today, we're gonna take the intake that's in my car, take it off, and we're gonna put on the MST intake. The stock box is pretty simple to take off, but I have a video where I actually take the stock box off and you can see that right up there. I do not have the stock box on my car right now because my car is now too custom. Basically everything would get in the way. I do have an intake on there right now and I'm gonna take it off. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and take this off, and then I'm gonna show you once everything is off how to install the MST intake. Alright guys, now I have everything off, and as you guys know, I have a big boost turbo, so in that regard it's different. Everything else is the same. There is a little plastic piece that goes right here that holds the stock airbox. If you come from a stock airbox, just use a long 16mm socket to pull that out and then you're good to go. There's also a screw that you can take off right here, which we will be using that for later. So to start off, we're gonna take our heat shield and we're gonna go ahead and place it in here. As you may notice, it's kind of long, so what you want to do is go ahead and line it up down there with that guy over there. And then if you can see back here, that's gonna go right in there. And so that's why we need the other screw that we were just talking about. And we need a nut that is provided by MST. So MST has provided some of these screws and nuts, and that's what we're gonna use. So for the bottom, I'm gonna go ahead and use one washer and a locking nut. So we're gonna use this locking nut. That's what we need. So if you have some extenders, I would recommend that. It just makes everything easier. Right here at the top, it's a little bit more complicated. Some people have this and some people don't, so it's kind of weird. I've seen this in multiple variations, so I never know what the correct way it is to actually install that. Like for example, if I try to do that myself, it's not going to work with this current setup. As you can see, I would have to remove this, but because there was already a screw in its place, I can go ahead and use that same screw to go ahead and install that right there. Alright, so that's it for the heat shielding for now. Now we're going to focus on the actual pipe. And for this, we're going to put the coupler down first, and then we're going to put the pipe through and going to put the cone through. So for this next step, there are several ways that I have found work, but this is the way that I like to do it the most, probably the most straightforward way too. As you can see, here's my MAF sensor, so I just kind of put it to the side. I didn't disconnect it, I didn't feel like I needed to, so just put it to the side. It is a sensitive sensor, so just be easy with it. If you have no experience messing with these, I do recommend that you disconnect it and put it somewhere safe, but for now I'm gonna tuck it right there. It's gonna stay right there until I'm ready to move it where it needs to go. I'm gonna face the MST logo facing this way just because it's visible. We're gonna go ahead and get one of the couplers that they provided us with and just kind of put it in. Doesn't have to be tightened or anything. My inlet pipe is a little bit different than the OEM, but it's the same concept, so I'm not really too worried about that. So now what I want to do is get the other coupler, and I'm gonna go ahead and stick this one on there too, and then we're gonna take our pipe. So what I found to work the best is to go ahead and attach the filter to the pipe and then put the whole thing through that hole and into the inlet, and that seemed to work out the best. So let's go ahead and join these two and then we'll focus on that. All right, so let's go ahead and begin. So we're gonna just put it in there like that, and it kind of stops right there. And then this bracket, we can just tighten it, and you can use a flathead to tighten, or you can use an 8mm. It doesn't matter. I prefer the 8mm just because it's easier to grip, and so that's what we're gonna do right now. And I don't want to tighten it all the way. I'm kind of picky about these things, and like this one is upside down, so I'm gonna twist it until it's right side up, even though the shield is never gonna allow anybody to see this, but I'm just a stickler like that. You want the brace to be somewhere accessible so you can take it off easy, so I think that's good enough. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten it right there. and just make sure that it's even all around. Tighten it as much as you can without breaking it, and that's just to make sure that we don't have any leaks or anything. So now what I'm gonna show you is kind of how I did this. So we're gonna go ahead and stick the whole pipe in through this hole, and you're gonna rotate as you put it in. So we're gonna rotate. It's gonna get a little tight. So now that we cleared everything, we want to get it into the coupler, and this is where things can get a little tricky. I hope this is a better angle. So in these situations, what I would usually do is I'll get like a flathead, and because it is really tight, so with this flathead, I'm gonna kind of go around and see. So simple. It made it so much easier like that. We want to make sure that this is on there good, you know, seated correctly, properly. So once we feel that it's seated well, we're gonna go ahead and start clamping down these guys down here. Grab your 8mm socket. So I'm just gonna ratchet in. Once you find the angle that you want, go ahead and start tightening it. Just do some inspections, make sure that it's on evenly around the pipe. You don't want it to be uneven and not clamped correctly. Alright, now that we have the pipe in place and we have the filter in place, just make sure everything is seated right. I want to go ahead and install the MAF sensor. So the way I had it is already connected. All I have to do is stick it in. We're going to use the screws that they provided. They provided us with 5, so 2 of these are going to go on the MAF and 3 are going to go on the shield. So we're going to go ahead and stick these in here, the MAF sensor. The other one will go in here. Alright, and once you have those in place, just go ahead and screw them in. And to screw them in, you're going to be using a size 3 Allen. So let's go ahead and do that. Don't over tighten, but just enough to have peace of mind. Alright, so that's in. MAF sensor secure. And now we're going to bring this heat shield and we're going to place it right there where it goes and go ahead and bolt it on. So we're going to use the other 3 screws that they provided. I have them right here. So just make sure you grab one anchor point. And the last one will just line up. And now we're going to tighten these. Alright. One last thing to do, and if you've been following along, you already know what it is. It's going to be this bolt back here. We're just going to tighten it up. And now we have the MST intake for B58 installation complete. As you can see, this fits the big boost kit, so it fits OEM, and I can assure you it's gonna fit Pure 800, Vargas, all of those turbo kits. So that was it. Anyway guys, that was it for the MST intake for B58. Now as you can see, looks pretty clean. I kind of like it, and it gives her a stealthier look. I mean, obviously if you look hard enough, you're gonna be able to see the cone in there. But basically the shielding is supposed to help with IATs so that you're sucking in more cold air rather than allowing the hot air from the engine bay to enter into the intake. If you watch the whole thing, if you have an MST intake, make sure you watch everything and you see everything that was done. Remember the tools that are needed. This is the simplest I can make it because this is honestly a very simple intake to install. Anyway guys, if you liked the video, go ahead and click like, go ahead and subscribe, and I will see you next video.